Hey everyone, this is Paul, and you are listening to season 2, episode 10 of the Generation Latino podcast. I am so happy to have today's guest on the show. She was a guest on season 1. She has such a beautiful energy and heart full of love. We talked about love, hope, future husbands, and everything in between. It's ReShaun Webb. ReShaun brought so much good energy, honesty, and a whole lot of heart into our conversation. ReShaun also has a TikTok series called Dear Future Husband, and we dive deep into that series and what inspired her to create it. So I hope you enjoy this episode, Dear Future Husband, featuring ReShaun Webb. So, Rashawn, just so you know, your episode is my most downloaded, most streamed, and most played episode. I think the reason it resonated with a lot of people is because you spoke truth about heartache, about breakup, and the lows of being low as a woman who's in charge of her life, a woman of faith. People related to your story. So if anyone wants to know a little bit more about ReShaun, you can go to season 1, episode 19, and we talk all about ReShaun, her background, what she does. But ReShaun, you have a segment on your podcast and on TikTok called Dear Future Husband. What inspired that segment? What motivated you to do that, and just kind of the background of Dear Future Husband?
Yeah. So, first of all, I am always honored to be on your podcast, and we love a good kiki and we love talking. And so, I'm thankful to be back with my friend. So, I'm trying to think. I think what it was is I saw a bunch of videos on TikTok of different Caucasian cowboys, and they're in the car, in the truck, and they're like, Dear future wife. I'm praying over you, or if you were here, you wouldn't have to do this, that, and the other. And I saw all of it. It was so beautiful, but I never saw any women doing a dear future husband. And so I think I posted one just to be funny. And my godmother and one of my childcare parents was like, you need to do this all the time. Like, this is a thing right here. And I was like, really? And that's the side people don't really see about me. And they're like, no, really, you need to do this. And so it just became one of those, this is what we go through as women, right? We always see the men say, "You won't have to do this, I'll do that." But we don't ever see the women say, "Well, this is what my life is like as a single woman. I had a flat tire today and I didn't know how to fix it. So I Googled it," or just different weird things because I think, it just puts that persona out there of what we go through as single women. Plus, I initially did it because I wanted to give women hope that having love is possible, being love is possible, and enjoying love and romance is possible. So I originally started to encourage myself, but then it also became an encouragement and a reality check for others.
When I see them, I say, "How does she know that this is a future husband moment?"
Well, I remember when I wrote my last book, and I think at the end of it was Dear Future Husband. I believe that was the chapter 8 or 7. And so in there was like a, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what it's been like. And so it's almost one of those, this is what I'm doing while I'm waiting for you. And this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm bothered by. This is what is giving me all these feels while I'm waiting for you. So whether it's, I think one time my body was ran down, I started getting sick. And I was like, I really need you to come take care of me. I don't know where you are. I don't know if your plane is delayed or you missed your bus, but I really need you to come and take care of me. And it resonates with a lot of women, especially women in certain positions, because there's so much on us. And there are times that although we are powerful women, we need a shoulder too. We need to be able to let our hair down and relax with our person, with our guy. It's one of those spur of the moment things. I don't plan them. It's literally spur of the moment. Like if I'm feeling something and something inside of me will be like, okay, this is it. Now is the time. And that's when I do them.
I love them. I think they are clever. When I see them, I'm like, "There's Rashawn being Rashawn." But you talk about a specific type of woman, and what do you think is the hardest part for the type of woman that you are? You're a businesswoman, you're educated, you are a very driven individual. You're hosting conferences, you're traveling all over the United States, giving speeches and teaching. What type of man do you feel can handle that?
I would say one who is quiet and in the shadows, and not because I'm in the light and he's got to be in the shadows. We both can be in the light and be crazy. And I think when all the hypeness comes and I'm pumped and all that, he's the one to like, okay, bring it back down. We need to look at the optics. We need to look at what's best. We need to look at, so while I'm jazzed and excited and pumped, he's like, no, let's bring it down and let's look at the reality if this is going to be a good fit for us. One who is definitely not intimidated, and I've had an intimidated one that won't make comments of saying that makes my success become a stumbling block or a failure for him. Definitely someone who is not like that because my intention of my success is really not based on you. It's what I was doing before you got here. I definitely need a strong silent type.
I have a lot of girlfriends who they have no hope anymore, but it seems like, and I'm bringing this up because I know a lot of women who are listening can relate to this. Why do you think it is such a struggle for women to find a decent guy? And these women are extremely successful, but they have everything but that one little thing. Like you said, a shoulder to just lean on.
That's a very good question. And that's a question that, my mother and I discussed. Then I want to backpedal by saying, I remember when I wanted to get married and have a family at the age of 18, I wanted to get married, have a baby, open my center, and that was all. Then I started wanting more because I got bit by the early childhood bug and I started going to school. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be a secretary or greeter at Walmart while I'm waiting for this man to come and be my provider. I have things that I wanna do, things I need to be doing in the meantime. And so I will say this because I'm in the same boat at 43 with no children. You are successful because you're driven. You're successful because you want better for yourself. That is not predicated upon nobody but you. And unfortunately, statistics will prove that women are more advanced than men, and so their maturity level is a little slow, and that's okay. Finding the man that we deserve at our level is going to be nearly impossible. I'm not saying it's not. I believe in love. I believe in romance. I believe in fairy tales. But when you look at the man of your dreams, who will be your everything, realistically speaking, that man does not exist. And he does not exist because he's flawed. He doesn't exist because he might work at McDonald's as a manager while you're a corporate art buyer. You have to be okay with that man working at McDonald's. And that's a conversation my mother and I have all the time. So, and it's not a matter of it can't be done, but we have to look at, okay, I am trying to better myself. So I might not find that man at that same caliber as me physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, definitely have to be number one in thing. But I gotta be okay with, again, if he works as a manager at McDonald's overnight and I'm a forensic psychologist, he's gotta be okay with that. I've gotta be okay with that. So, it's not a matter of, they're out there, right? Because I do the same, I ask the same question. But again, he might not look like I want, 6'1" with a nice body and masters and a this and that. He might not be that. He might be 5'9" with a gut, but he loves me. It's the things that we have our list of things, right? And then we have what's reality. So the man that is meant for you is out there, okay? Because I have to tell myself the same thing. If he is the one, he is out there. If he is not, it is still okay because you're doing bad all by yourself. It's something that we want, absolutely, as women. Absolutely. We want to do life with someone. And I had that. And it was just the most beautiful thing to do life. But you want to do it with the person that is an equal partner to you, not someone who will drain you, bring you down, make you lose your focus, lose yourself, lose your way, all those things. You're in a better position being by yourself, able to maintain your dignity, your respect, and to maintain who you are as a person, especially who you are as a woman. I'm a person that loves being in relationships. I love being in love. But I also understand I can go find the next person on the street, but they will probably more than likely be the worst thing for me. And even though that part is missing, and even though that part is not in our lives, do what you need to do so that way when it comes, you'll be ready.
So it seems like a lot of is compromise.
Yeah, a healthy compromise.
Well, I was about to ask, and I'm asking for women who are listening, what is the difference between compromising and settling?
Ooh, all right. Let me give a real life example. I was with this guy for 3 years, and his finances weren't the best. And I think about where I am now and where he was then, I would be settling because although you could take me out to the places you liked, although you would fill up my car, go get my feet done, there was a lot of what he wanted showing forth than anything. Now, a compromise would say, I'll do this if you do this. If not my way or the highway, let's find a common ground. Let's find an even ground. Let's find a way that makes both of us happy. So I can either just say, forget it. I'm just going to do what you say because at least I'll have someone. Or I can say, you know what? We need to come to a common ground for this relationship to work and be successful for both of us.
That's a great example. That's a great
Yeah.
example. And I think oftentimes, though, too, women, they teeter with settling and compromise. And I think if they have a clear distinction of what is a compromise and what is settling, they would help themselves from a lot of heartache and a lot of disappointment more than anything. Women feel that sometimes they are compromising when they're really settling. I think they get the 2 mixed. I'm all for a compromise. I am all for a peace treaty, but to settle, that's hard because you are losing a lot of yourself when you're settling. You're losing a lot of yourself, and I think that people have a hard time with realizing, like, "Holy crap, I'm settling." A compromise is like, "You know what? We both want a house. I want this house, you want that house. Let's come to the middle and figure out a house that we both wanna be in together." That's a compromise. Settling is living in a basement with someone, figuring out how you're gonna have kids and a family. That's settling. I think people get that confused, and I really hope that people can separate the 2, but I'm gonna ask you some questions about vision and values and love just so people can have an idea. Maybe they might hear you say something and it helps them realize what they want. What qualities are most important to you in a partner?
Well, we all know God and that's my number one priority, but I think one of the main priorities is I need you to be all in this relationship. I need you to be the person that's like, but I'm all in. I'm locked in to what this relationship could be. I'm locked in to wherever this goes because we're going to do it together. Loyalty. I'm big on loyalty. I am big on knowing that I can trust you. I have big trust issues. And I also have abandonment issues. So I'm really big on trust. And when you say you're all in, that helps me feel better about abandonment. The one who works, get off your butt and work. Those video games ain't gonna pay for themselves. Go work, right? He knows how to work. He doesn't mind getting dirty. He doesn't mind, having money, working hard for his money. I'm not gonna say like the finer things in life. One who wants to enjoy life, whatever that looks like, right? Not just sitting at home waiting for the check to clear, but enjoying life, going out, doing things that help build us as a couple, as a team, and one who respects family. My family is up there. And so respecting family and respecting who they are in my life and respecting where they stand is important because there might be days where you won't get all of my attention because my family needs my attention and you have to be okay with that. So yeah, those would be the top ones that are very important to me.
Those are good. I knew a man of faith would be number 1. You talk a lot on dear future husband about things that have happened, but how do you want your future husband to make you feel?
I want him to make me feel like this will never end. This will be the longest courtship of your entire life. This will be the longest dating process ever. Until we die, we are dating. I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure. We bump heads. We'll bump heads. That's fine. But as we bumping heads, I'll fix your plate as we bump heads. I want him to make me feel like this is the longest courtship ever.
That is loyalty. What's something small, a gesture or habit that would make you feel truly loved?
Consistency. I need consistency. As bad as it sounds, if okay, perfect example. So my ex, every time we would go out and he gets ready to bless the food, he would always take my hand and bless the food, and then he would kiss it and put his hat back on. And that spoiled the heck out of me. I was like, "Yes." Well, one day he didn't, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what happened?" So I brought it up to him, or I said, "Excuse me, you forgot to do something." And he was like, "No, I didn't," and he did it anyway. So then the next time he did it, he didn't do it. And so he brought it up, he said, "Don't remind me to do something that I already know to do." And my response was, "Don't start something that you can't finish, because you know how I am." And so I'm very big on consistency, like, and it's not because I'm a brat and I'm the kind of person where it's almost like with children. You have to remind them of how good they are for them to believe that they're good, whether it's a high five, a wink, only because I've been done wrong by every man in my life. It's unfortunate that's gonna be his plight, but if he's strong, he won't look at it as a burden. "I'll just be courting you until we die." That's all.
Was that moment the beginning of the end in hindsight?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay. I was just you mentioned it. It's sometimes some things happen, right? I mean,
Right, right. Yeah, you do. But no, it wasn't because after then it kept going. So I was like, "Okay, then we're all good."
what have you learned about yourself that will help you love better in the future?
That I can do it. He was an older gentleman, so there was 18 years age difference, and I didn't know how to love a man. I could love a boy easy, but this was a grown man with years and age and experience, and my level of love, what I knew was not anything in comparison to his. He had been married, had kids, all these different things, and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I'm a little girl compared to this man." But again, that was the best relationship I ever had. Being in that position really helped me to understand that, okay, I'm capable of loving. And then when it happened, I'm like, "Oh, I got this in the bag," right? Along with that, I learned so much from him about loving men and where they are, and, he taught me so much and things that he probably didn't even realize he taught me that was probably a detriment to him, but a positive to me. So I know that the next one, who will be the last one, he will not have to want for anything, and I know that without a shadow of a doubt.
Wow. So, how are you preparing yourself to be the kind of partner you want to attract?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have figured out how to prepare for something that you don't know when it comes. I think for me, I keep the romance thing going. So, I'll read books to a certain extent because then I'll get sad. I'll watch the movies. I keep my heart pumping with romance and love, right? Because when we broke up, my heart went into a hibernation that I had never experienced before in my life. It was like 2.5 years with feeling nothing but darkness and sadness and death. And so I try to do those things to keep my heart pumping, like, okay, keep the love Jones flowing, keep it going in my heart. Because there are days when you're just like, I have all this love to give. What am I supposed to do with it? I I stay busy. I'll write, I'm working on a love story now. I just try to do those little things to keep that momentum going.
It's so hard to not be jaded. I mean, myself
Yeah.
coming from divorce and a breakup and whatnot,
Mhm.
it's hard to not be jaded. It's almost like you have to continue keeping that fire alive yourself.
Absolutely, and I was there. I remember we broke up and I didn't want kids, I didn't wanna be around kids, I didn't wanna talk about love, I didn't wanna talk about marriage, I didn't wanna talk about none of that because it was ugly and nasty and dirty to me. It was worthless, it was pointless, I was the worst and the lowest I had ever been, when it came to love, and so you can absolutely be jaded. You can absolutely feel like, "Why? What's the use? I did all those things. I said all those things." But at the end of the day, and all the calluses fall and the crust falls and the scars are revealed, you still wanna be in love. because that is who your true nature is. Reason why I love Beauty and the Beast so much is underneath all of that grotesqueness was love, but the one person who could unmask that was Belle. And there are days I feel like the Beast, and my husband would be the male version of Belle because I've been through so much, and there's something in him that's going to scrape those calluses away. There's something, and that's just something that I've always felt in my heart the last like 10 years. There's something in him that's going to scrape those calluses away, not because it's his job, but because his love that he has endured, that he has worked hard to get, is going to help with mine, just like mine will help with him, which is what it all boils down to at the end of the day. What you've been through and what I've been through are lessons and things that we can do so that way I take care of my partner and my partner takes care of me.
As someone who is single myself, what role does self-love play in your love story?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest and say I don't know. Right now, I'm a workaholic, so I don't even have time for self-love, and it's because that's the nature of my profession. So I don't even have time for self-love, but when I do, it's Disney and it's important because that's what makes me happy. It's in those moments I can be whoever I wanna be in that moment without worrying about who's looking, who's watching, who won't allow it, and all that other kind of crap. So self-love is important. The thing that makes you happy, you've gotta hold on to some of that when you link up with someone. They have theirs, you have yours. You don't change everything about yourself because you now have someone in your life. You might taper some things off. Your self-love is extremely important. Knowing who you are, remembering who you are is very important
Why do you think people lose self-love when they are in relationships?
because they become all about that relationship and they forget about themselves. I saw an interview one time where a couple had been married 44 years and they're still role playing and in lingerie and all kinds of things. And the one thing he said was, I want this fire to last. I want this to always be here more than anything in the world. And if you want your self-love to be, you will let it be. You will learn how to be yourself in a relationship with someone. Your name might change, but your personality, what made you you, is still going to be there. If you have to change yourself for someone, they're not the right person. And I say that because I did it in every one. Because over time, I was locked in, forgetting who I am, and started adjusting myself to them. They started making suggestions and demands of me, and I didn't have a backbone or a voice to say, no, this is who I am. And when I did, I was grown, and they didn't bother me about it since. They didn't bother me about it then. And so I was like, okay, if we break up behind this, that's fine because I stood on my ground and I believe in what I said. Never lose yourself in a relationship and change who you are for that person. My mother stays on me about that because then you won't know who you are when you break up. And that's what majority of women go through. They cut their hair, they lose all this weight or they gain all this weight. They dye their hair. They go on these trips they can't afford. They buy this car they don't like. Why? They have no idea who they are. They have no idea what they've become now. They just know they don't recognize themselves. And so that's one thing I said, I promised myself I will never do that again because I deserve to be the true me. And if you don't like the true me, I like Disney. I'm quirky. I'm silly. I'm this. But when you mess with me and mine and ours, I'm coming for your jugular. If you don't like that, then I'm not the person for you and I'm not going to change that. So being 100% you, if that person don't like that about you, then they're not the one for you.
That is so true. I wanna be authentically me, and that someone has to be able to accept that. If not, then it's not meant to be. But
Absolutely.
it's hard, and it's, like you said, it's making promises to yourself. It's realizing what you're truly worth. People buy the new cars, they start sleeping around, and they start really becoming someone that they don't even know.
Absolutely. And that's when you know you're in a bad place, right? And but that's a place you don't stay at. Don't You should not stay there for very long. Say what needs to be said, do what you need to do. Stay in that slump for a short period of time. But when you get out, you get out for the better so that way you can be your authentic true self. I've learned that being authentic and being your true self will get you further along than lying and being someone that you don't know.
So, we're going to talk about manifesting and dreaming. If you could write a love letter to your future husband, what would it say?
Dear future husband, it's been a rough couple of months and I'm doing the best I can to wait for you. It's been rough because you're not here to help me navigate these choices. You're not here to be the guardian of my being. You're not here to be the high priest of our home. So I'm having to do a lot of things that I don't know how to do, but I'm doing it for us. There's been some good days and some challenging days, but I hope that you are doing great where you are. And I hope that you are whole, you are healed, and you're ready for me to love you because I will love you until my breath stops. And I promise to take care of you. I promise to do right by you, and you won't have to want for love because I have all the love that you need, just like I hope you have all the love I need.
That was beautiful, by the way. Oh my gosh.
There are some moments because I have a journal, and I think one of the things that I did, and I challenged the ladies and the men, I challenge you guys, and if you do this, I want to hear about this. I want to hear about this. I challenge you to get a notebook specifically for your future partner. And I want you to write them the longest love note they will ever get. And what this did for me, I just don't have time to do them anymore. It almost made me feel like he's reading it as I'm writing it. So I'm writing it as if he's reading it. And I am detailing my day. I'm detailing, who did what to me and how I felt and what I did. You might not have been happy with my decision, but I chose this or I did this, all these different things. I think that is a good way to write out because people journal for everything. But I think that's just a way to find a way to connect to your future partner. This was a wedding gift that I would give to him as one of those. He's with his groomsmen and we exchange gifts or whatever. I would have my bridesmaid take that gift to him. So it is the longest love letter he will write, and he will spend eternity knowing what my life was like before we met.
How do you picture your life together?
I picture it very adventurous because I'm an adventurous person.
There's a quote from my favorite love song. It goes, I've never felt this healthy before. I've never wanted something rational. I always go to that one line. I've never felt this healthy before. I think people forget that you need to feel healthy mentally when you're in love.
Yes, absolutely. Let me tell you, when you look at a relationship, you're looking at you are attaching yourself to someone else who has a whole nother life before you, but you want to be healthy. That's one of the things that we did that really helped us tremendously was we put our this is what's not going to happen on the table. And we knew whatever happens, this is something that will never happen. We will never hang up on each other. We will never call each other out of each other's names. We will never disrespect. Like we put some hard boundaries, put those boundaries in place. And here's the thing, as a single person, the question you just asked me was about how do you prepare and get ready? You put those boundaries in place for yourself. All right. I'm not going to talk to someone who's ratchet and can't maintain their dignity and respect, self respect. Give yourself a boundary because when you meet that person, they're going to have a boundary. If they were a respecting citizen and human being, they're going to have a boundary. Don't do this. I don't like that. I don't like it when don't do that. That bothers me. Don't do that. Put some boundaries in place for yourself. No, I'm not going to sleep with men until my husband get here or I'm not gonna be sleeping around with a bunch of women till I find my wife. Whatever, put some boundaries in your life so that way it's not controlling. You're putting those boundaries there so you can have some discipline. Being in a relationship, it takes discipline. It takes being intentional. You have got to be intentional and making sure that you're ready to be with someone else who is exactly opposite of you. So put those boundaries in your own life and be intentional in your life.
What kind of love story do you want to create?
Your questions are spot on tonight. Mind you, guys, I have never seen these questions, so this is all off the dome. What kind of love story do I wanna create? I wanna create a love story of the knight in shining armor coming in to save the day, literally lighten her load, make her feel loved, make her feel special because no one else does it like him. She's lost faith, she's lost hope, but I'm here to make her feel safe. Not because it's my job, but because I want to. That's who I am, that's what I do. Men have failed her, men have taken advantage of her, but this is the last stop. This is the last love she will ever have because I will be her only love from here on out. So I think that's the story I'm going for, one of those long lost love type things. Because, true to form, every man that has been in my life, except my grandfather, has let me down. And I had to learn to trust men again. I had to learn how not to look at them as worthless and useless. I can go buy a baby. I can adopt. I can foster a baby. If it got real bad, I could go get a prostitute. But it's the heart. It's always coming back to the heart. As women, we're nurturers. We lead with our heart and our feelings. And logical men can't understand that. So the love story that I want is one of I came in to rescue her. She didn't need the rescuing. I wanted to rescue her from herself and just be there with her and enjoy life with her. That's what I want.
It's beautiful. Oftentimes for myself, I have this vision of what I want love to be, and I'm not going to settle for anything less than the vision
Mm-mm.
that I have for myself and the love that I want. But we're gonna do this next part's gonna be more like a reflection based. And I also feel like a lot of people listening will also love to hear from your, wisdom and knowledge and your experience. But what lessons have past experiences taught you about love?
That love, one of the vows, and I think it's in First Corinthians, love what love is not. And so one of them is love is not boastful. Love isn't this, love isn't that. And love isn't selfish. Love is not, hitting below the belt. Love is not mistreating your partner. Love is not gaslighting your partner, but love is what God created. And there are times when we as humans think we know more than God. I say, "Oh, I know what love is," and you don't know crap. And so I sat and asked God one day to help me understand what that means because I wanted to know. You created it. You showed me what it meant. You created it. Tell me what it means. I'm interested. I want to know. But if you want to build with someone, if you want to do life with someone, and enjoy someone, you need to understand what love is.
I think a lot of people don't know what it is, which is why it doesn't go so well. What boundaries or values are non-negotiable for you? You touched on it briefly, but what boundaries or values are non-negotiable?
Number 1, you've gotta have a job. Every man I've been with was either unemployed or looking. I ain't never been with one that we started out and he had a job. But I need someone who respects who I am. I'm not throwing who I am in your face. I'm not, making you feel bad because of who I am and what I do. You're doing that all on your own. I need someone who is supportive. Your ideas on my life is important. Your suggestions about my life is important. And it's not just going to be, I'm going to go blindly into something without consulting my partner because it affects him. Somebody's got to have a mind to work, to provide, and do for the family. So that's important. Have some goals, man. Have some ambitions. Okay, you might work at McDonald's. Don't you want to own it? Okay, well, let's go to McDonald's University and apply. Like, have some ambition.
It's funny you say that. I was dating a guy who worked at AT&T, and
Hmm.
we were having dinner, and all I asked was, "How long do you plan on doing that?" And Rashawn, our relationship was never the same after that. Obviously, it didn't work out. We broke up, but it triggered something. And as you're talking about your non-negotiables, I need a confident man who is secure and, like you say, in his goals, That if I ask
Yeah.
a question, they don't just shrivel up and shut down.
All those things matter.
And it's funny you say that because it's crazy how insecurity can creep up in that way, and even for
Yeah.
myself, if I'm just gonna ask a question, it's like someone asking you, "Hey, do you ever plan on opening up another center?" You would be like, "Yes." You're not gonna get upset. He's not questioning your womanhood or your business mindset. He's not questioning that. He's just asking, but people have a hard time when faced with hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing. If a person wants to be with you, they are going to move heaven and hell and purgatory to be with you. They are going to go out of their way to sell plasma to get the money for to pay the phone bill. They're going to go out of their way because let's be honest, women, we go out of our way often because we want that relationship. We want that person. But we will settle, and we will go out of our way to make him happy. And he has done nothing. He can't even lift his thumb to say, yes, that's what I want for dinner because he's too busy focused on a game you bought. He can't go out of his way to do crap. That is not the man for you. You're not his mother, you're not his maid. So we as women have to know our hard no's and yeses and be honest with them and stick to them. Yeah, you might be alone for a minute. I've been by myself. I've been single since 2018. Not what I wanted. I expected to be married with a kid. But I'm not gonna fight for somebody that does not want me. I'm not gonna fight for something that is not meant to be. And as bad as it hurt, oh God, as bad as it almost killed me, I know further down the line, I will be grateful. I can't see it then. You can't see it then. But I guarantee you, you'll be grateful that you didn't. So keep that in mind. Just because they look good, but what does their inside look like? Can they think their way across the street? Or do you have to guide them? Do you have to do some things to make them move? No, don't sell your body, sell your intelligence, sell your intellect to make a man, and for guys, a woman, do whoever, do anything that does not help bring healthiness to that relationship. Otherwise, you might as well just be dating a toddler.
So, what advice would you give someone waiting for their person?
Keep waiting, because that's what they tell me when I have my days of discomfort. Keep waiting. Keep waiting. And in the meantime, fill your time with something that's going to add to you. Fill your time with something that's going to add to who you are as a woman or a guy. Fill your time with something that's going to add to your intellect. Fill your time with something that's really going to boost you up, make you feel good about being who you are, not turn you into something that you're not. You don't have to go turn yourself into a hoe so you can feel special of trying to get some man. How you get him is how you're gonna have to keep him.
That's too much energy for me. I also think holding on to hope. I think waiting is great, and I also believe that people need to hold on to hope. There's a reason the word hope
Hmm.
is so powerful.
It is powerful, and and I will say another thing too. You need to be if you're holding on to hope, because I hold on to hope, and I hold on to it, but I don't hold on to it and share it with other people. Meaning, I don't go around telling everybody my pain point with what I don't have. I keep it to myself. But with hope, I keep doing things that keep me hopeful. I love the wedding industry. I'm a wedding coordinator. I love looking at dresses and looking at the movie The Wedding Planner. All those things keep me hopeful, going and talking with older people that have been married for years and years and years and asking them my proverbial question, why did y'all get married? Or how did you know? Keep yourself in an arena of people who are hopeful. Be around someone that's going to help add to your hope bucket. Whether it's like, hey, I see you. Don't worry. He's coming. She's coming. Just keep pushing. Keep plugging away. You're doing great. Be around people that are going to help inspire you to keep the hope alive.
Yes, I think the power of energy is so important. I talk about it all the time, but energy is so powerful. What's your love language, Rashawn? For example, I like to give physical touch.
So my top two are going to be I like receiving gifts and I like physical touch. Now, what I like doing is I like acts of service, and I wanna say words of affirmation.
So, Urshan, what does your happily ever after look like in your book, in your movie? What does it look like?
Well, it looks like us getting married at Disney World, starting our happily ever after at Disney World. But my happily ever after is just being with my person, being with my man, and enjoying life and just laughing together and crying together and encouraging one another. He is my best friend, my right hand. He is my emergency contact. And it's just, all those quirky moments you want to run to your person and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this just happened." And they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, I hate I missed it." Like they're gonna miss the things that they cannot enjoy with you because of other responsibilities. So I want him to smell, eat, and breathe me and vice versa. I want us to always have fire and passion and excitement, even on our days where it's like, I don't really want to be in your presence. Well, I'm not going nowhere. So we finna watch a movie. Put your foot over here. Just that those things that just you're just glad that even though I don't feel like being with you, I don't want you to leave. So I'm glad you're as far away from me as possible, but I can still touch you. You just want to have just that moment of doing life with that person, maybe a baby. My baby fever left years ago, so, I woke up and it was gone. But just someone that I can just smile and laugh with and cry with and share all my good moments with and, just have something hot and fiery that people are jealous of.
And share your successes with.
Yes, definitely.
I remember when I walked the stage for my master's degree, I thought this would be really nice to share.
Yes, yes. Well, for the listeners out there, let me tell you, I share this story probably more than he does, but he just gave me everything I needed to put this out here. So while he didn't have that, he was that for me. I was way in Orlando graduating and my mom was there and I had just met Paul, by the way. And Paul recorded my graduation, sent me pictures of me walking the stage and all the things. And I didn't know about it until I got back to my seat. And I was just like, oh my gosh, no one has ever done that for me before. And that just really spoke volumes of his character and of our friendship. And to this day, I still have the pictures because of what he did. And so, yeah, you want that person that's gonna catch those moments for you, and you're just like, "Oh, I don't wanna call my mom, I wanna call my man."
Why
Mhm.
is it so hard dating in 2025?
But why is it so hard? Because everyone doesn't have their reasoning and their purpose is not aligned correctly. People date for different reasons. Whereas you might, everyone's trying to find love, right? You pop a balloon if it ain't the right person, or you swipe left, swipe right, or you're in a pod, or you go on an island, all these different mechanisms to find love. And everyone ends up single because everyone's intentions aren't pure. And I think that's the thing is people's heart have to be so intentional and wanting to truly be in love with someone and not try to change them, but accept them. If I know my husband likes to burp in public, I can either make a compromise and say, hey, I'm not saying to hold it in, but you can tame it a little bit because other people don't want to hear it, or just ignore it altogether. Or you did that before we dated. I'm the one that decided I liked it. That's why we're married now, or not date him at all. Those red flags are there in the very beginning, and you need to truly look at them and say, "Hey, is this what I wanna deal with? Is this who I can deal with?" I am intentionally seeking to be in love and to get married. Is my heart pure and ready for this? Secondly, am I getting married for something, someone? No, I'm getting married for the long haul, till death do us part. Point blank period. We're gonna go through all the mechanisms to make sure this is a right fit, but till death do us part. You could live in a whole nother state, that's fine, but till death, we're still married. So having the right heart and the right intentions of being married means everything. And most people don't get married for the right reasons. Why they divorce in 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, because people are different. That you're not gonna marry someone that's like you. You're gonna marry someone with different views and opinions and different way they do things and handle things. They showed you all that before you said I do. You said you could handle it. Sometimes things change and you're like, oh, where has this person been? They had become a different person when they got married. Newsflash, some of those icks were there. You were too busy in love to look at them. So, why is it challenging? Because everyone is after the wrong thing. They don't get married for the right reasons. And by the time you find out that you're ready, you're so messed up and screwed up that the person that you meant want to be with, they're innocent and you might ruin them because you've been hurt. So there's just so much that goes into it. And if people were truly honest, they would say, yeah, I didn't get married for the right reasons. I just got married for the check or for the clout or just to have a baby or just to appease my family. Get married for the right reasons. Be with someone for the right reasons.
I also feel like people are always in a rush to go to the next feelings. They're always chasing the next emotion and the next thing. I was telling a friend of mine, you need to marinate in the moment that you're in. Like you're
Yeah,
on your second date already thinking about intimacy or thinking about things that are just you're not in the moment. You're not in the moment
right.
of where you're at. If it's a second date, worry about it being a second date. Why are you thinking about a million other things before or even after? Do you think that
Mhm.
people are self-destructive when it comes to dating and rushing to the next moment?
Absolutely. And, let's be honest, it's a lot of it could be excitement, right? You're just excited. Oh, finally. I'm excited to see where this goes. And, almost like we need to solidify something before the shoe drops. But absolutely, people, tend to rush to the next part. And he said a good point, marinate in it. Be in that moment. You're going to miss something thinking about date number 6, date number 2, date number 5, you're gonna miss something he's saying right then and there because 'cause you're thinking about something that ain't even happened yet. Be in the moment with that person because it's in those moments you get to see things. You get to see how they handle certain things and how their little mannerisms and their eyebrows move. All those things matter. Be in the moment. If it's meant to be, the date'll be there. What you're gonna do will be there, but be in the moment with that person. 'Cause you're gonna miss some things that are very important and very vital to your story, and you want to be as present as possible. Enjoy it, especially if, like for me, for example, I think about this all the time. Like, man, I haven't been with anybody since 2018. When I do go out, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna blow his phone up, reminding him of the date because I'm afraid he's gonna cancel? Or am I going to wear the wrong thing? God forbid my period starts and I'm not prepared. I think of all those things that could go horribly wrong, but then I think about all the things that also could go perfectly right. So be in the moment. Don't think about a day that hasn't gotten there yet. If they bring it up, go with the flow, but just be in the moment because it's in those moments that you'll see the things you need to know to see whether or not there is going to be a second date. You might not want there to be a second date. They might not want. Being in that moment counts because you get to see things you might not see otherwise. For me, I look forward to going on a first date again. I look forward to being able to be with that person and truly look in their eyes and laugh and have that conversation about life and ain't gotta be heavy about, okay, you want kids, you want this, you want, I mean, maybe date two, but date one, make it as lighthearted and easygoing as possible. I'm the kind of person, I don't want to waste my time. So I need to know now, where is this headed? So that way I can put you where you need to go. Friend, unfriend, wherever. So I don't waste my time. I don't want to wait. I wasted 3 years. I can't get those years back. So that's important to me. Where exactly do you fit in my story? Where do you fit in my life? I'm trying to see. And so, just be in the moment. It's so important.
That's what I plan to do as well moving forward. Rashawn, I want to just thank you. You are powerful. You are mighty. Many people relate to you because you are authentic. You are a truth teller and you really say it like it is. And I want to thank you for letting me chat with you about something that is personal. Anyone's love story or journey with love is personal. I think a lot of women and men can listen to your story. You still have faith, you still have hope. We talk about hope, you still have it regardless of where you've been, how low you've been. You've talked about it the last time you were here. You talked about how you didn't even want to live anymore. To hear you just talk and still have hope is so telling of the faith that you have in God, the faith that you have in love, and the faith that you have in yourself. At the end of the day, you only have yourself. You are always welcome here. Thank you so much for being here on the Generation Latino podcast. I love you.